Hello. I want to tell you about Anthony McClellan. Anthony McClellan, extensive criminal record. Um, when he was younger, he got his 16-year-old girlfriend pregnant, just bailed like it had nothing to do with her life or um, his child's life. And he just went ahead and did his thing. Anthony McClellan is LeBron James' father. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. But now, just because an individual says something you disagree with doesn't mean you have to paint them and their entire life, all of their accomplishments, as being useless, and paint them as being like a bad person. Because I look at LeBron James as somebody who should inspire, like not just youth, should just inspire people, period. So I told you about his dad, Anthony McClellan, deadbeat, um, extensive criminal record. His girlfriend gets pregnant. He's just like he is like it doesn't even register. He just keeps going on with his life, doing whatever he's doing. LeBron James' mother is 16 years old when she gives birth to him. She has to raise this young man by herself. Do you know what? Just take a look at where LeBron James is right now. Right now, LeBron James is 36 years old and has earned over $1 billion. Over $1 billion he's earned. Born to a 16-year-old mother who raised him by herself. Like, if you're looking at people today who are struggling, you've got single mothers, you've got two-parent homes whose kids are struggling, trying to get it together. The two-parent homes who are struggling to make ends meet, to provide decent lives for their children. And then you have a story. Like if you want to root for somebody, if you want an underdog story, if you want something that could just like make you feel good, this is that story. This is one of those stories. But yet, that's not the story you're telling when you talk about LeBron James. And I'm looking at you conservatives because this is supposed to be your wheelhouse. Family values, perseverance, education, the American dream, of working even when the odds are against you, of achieving what like just what so many would never believe is possible. Like this is LeBron James is one of these stories. Like especially if right now we're talking about there's this big argument, capitalism, socialism, and there's people like, oh, there's no way, if you're in certain circumstances, you can't succeed. And LeBron James is an example of, yes, there are paths to success. This kid worked his butt off. He worked his butt off to be the best. I mean, that's an inspiration. LeBron James is a family man. So, like he who had a deadbeat dad who just disappeared, impregnated his mother, and gone. He is married, has 3 children. He decided he was going to be a father to his children. Do you respect conservatives? Do you respect that? Like, come on. Respect that. You don't have to agree with everything he does. You don't have to agree with whom he supports politically. But if you can acknowledge the things that he's done, that the values that y'all have in common, like that just goes so that goes light years to building bridges. Cardi B, born in New York, Washington Heights, raised at one point like financially in a really bad situation, in an abusive relationship. And I know people say, oh, well, she dances like a stripper. She does that. Well, she actually was a stripper. And you say, oh, see. And then let's go back. And now I'm not bringing up Melania Trump to malign her or to diminish her. I'm bringing up to say Melania Trump is how old? Now, how old is Cardi B? They say, oh, well, Melania evolved. Okay, Cardi B is 28 years old. Right now, she was a stripper. She's a multi-millionaire now. She's a musician. She is a mother. She's a wife. How about giving her a chance to evolve? How about giving her a chance to evolve before condemning her? How about giving her some time to mature, to grow as a woman? She's already done so much more than people would have imagined for where she came from. Like, how about showing some respect? Now, you may say you want respect. Cool, I get it. It's a reciprocal thing. Give people who don't. Okay, so she was supporting Bernie. Okay, so she supported Biden. Okay, are there things she's done, is doing, that you could look at and say, wow, okay, that's impressive? Because I've watched some of your thought leaders just criticize her and just talk so negatively about her. Oh, nobody would want their daughter to be married with a child worth millions of dollars and famous, have a successful career, and just be admired by millions. Nobody would want that. Like, stop lying to yourselves and stop lying to us, because that's clearly a lie. You don't like her for personal reasons. You don't like her because she had a public feud with one of your closest friends. Okay. Don't lie. Don't just make stuff up. There's things you can point to say, you know what? Wow. Another American success story. That's one of the things you believe in, the American dream. So how do you have these American success stories, but you don't want to tell these stories? You want to tell some other story because you want to dunk on people. You want to embarrass people. You want to make people look stupid. How about saying, you know what? She was a stripper. Now she's a musician. And you can say, oh, but I don't like her music. I don't like the things, she raps about. Okay. She's a musician, not a pastor. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Because people had plenty of stuff to say about Trump. And the response was, we voted for a president, not a pastor. And the thing about LeBron James, aside from what he's done in his professional life, aside from what he's done in his personal life, look at what he's doing with his money. He's opened a school, the iPromise School. It's going to be a fully functional by 2022, 1st to 8th grade. He's giving back to his community. Don't you think that's something to celebrate? Don't you think that you can say, if you acknowledge that, like, let's say conservative, and granted, conservative, the base, all of those people who are just, watching, you can still put out this type of energy, and you can demand this type of energy from the thought leaders or the famous conservatives. You can say, hey, cut that out. This person's done this. How about highlighting that? How about building a bridge? How about showing some respect to this person and extending an olive branch? Maybe they won't take it. But you're not doing it just for a reward. You're doing it because you genuinely appreciate certain things about people. Because you genuinely care about people. If you genuinely care about people. Do you? Because it's time to stop. It's time to stop with the stupidness, the pettiness, the owning the libs, the just criticizing people just because they have different political beliefs, and say, hey, where can we find common ground? Of course, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.